has been a crazy week. Biden dropped out and I am stoked. I tweeted about it immediately whenever I heard the news. I think I caught a few people off guard. Initially, the response from several people was one of curiosity, wondering how this could be a good thing, that anybody replacing Biden at this point would have a bad time. But I'm telling you, very excited about Harris right now, and a lot of people are too. Within the first 24 hours, she raised $81 million. That is amazing. And a lot of Republicans are pretty pissed off. Politics is always going to be somebody versus somebody else, right? There's always going to be smear campaigns. There's always going to be an effort to bring the other person down, to make yourself look better, which I think honestly in a lot of situations is okay to do, so long as you're focusing on that person's policy, right? Because that's what these people are supposed to do. We're electing them to carry out policies that we believe in. I don't care what your hair looks like, Trump. I can look past it, but apparently a lot of people can't look past her laugh.
It's from crooked Joe Biden and Kamala. I call her Laughing Kamala. You ever watch her laugh? She's crazy.
And that's been like the hill they've been dying on, because in 24 hours she might be able to raise $81 million. But the best they can come up with to make her look bad after she served for 4 years as vice president. You think they'd have more material if there were any, but I guess there isn't. So this is the best they've got. She has emotions.
She's crazy. You know, you can tell a lot by a laugh. No, she's crazy. She's nuts. She's not as crazy as Nancy Pelosi, crazy Nancy.
Women are crazy. You know, men can do the same thing, but if a woman does it, she is psycho.
Here's just one reason that voters seem to detest Kamala Harris. Do you decide?
Okay, so.
This is literally just a compilation of her laughing. I don't know if I really need to play the whole thing, because it's literally just a compilation of her laughing, and that's the one thing they want to focus on.
I couldn't reconcile it. Now I can.
Yes, you're giggling Vice President.
She's so giggly. Can't elect someone who has happy feelings. Now, I remember the last election, and Trump and a lot of Republicans had an issue accepting the results. Something tells me that might happen again.
The puff pieces, they're already being written. The accolades, they are pouring in from every radical, democratic, leftist, socialist, Marxist in the country. The phony polls, I promise you, will follow, showing she is energizing Democrats. She might even be beating Donald Trump in a swing state or two. Or maybe 3.
The phony polls that are out right now showing that she actually is. But they're all phony. It might be 1 poll, it might be 2, it might be all of them from now until the end of this thing in November, but they're phony. It might seem like people on the left are excited about this. It might seem that way, but it's all phony. It's not real. But that's not all. They're not only complaining about her laugh, they're also complaining about the money they wasted on smear campaigns against Joe Biden. And clearly they used all the funds because they have nothing left for her.
And as President Trump said, the Republican Party spent tens of millions of dollars running against Joe Biden. Now they just woke up one morning and said, never mind.
I feel like they built their entire case on Joe Biden being old. And let me tell you, he's old. They're right. But now it's interesting because he's gone, and the oldest person in our history to run for president is Trump. So the old card, the thing that they've been entirely basing their smear campaign on, is now applicable to themselves, and it's going to be a really difficult thing to look in the mirror, and it's not just because of his hair. Maybe if you focused more on policies instead of, hey, he's old, you would have something, because Harris and Biden obviously have similar policies as they've worked together. Like, they've had 4 years. I mean, I haven't talked about it online, but I have had a hope that Biden was going to drop out for a long time. I do think that he was showing some signs of maybe not being well, and for his own well-being, I thought it was best for him to step down and let the next person come in and take the reins and try to do something a little bit better. I respect the guy, but I do think it was the right thing for him to do, to drop out. Could have happened sooner. I won't argue with that, but the Democratic convention hasn't happened yet, so there's still time for all of this to fully play out. I'm excited to see who the VP is going to be. I mean, there's a lot that's still happening right now, so we're not at the end of it, but I do think that we have a chance now, whereas before with Biden we didn't, and I felt that way even stronger after the debate that I sat there and watched the whole thing. It was painful. I mean, they talked way too long about golf, of all things.
I just won 2 club championships, not even senior, 2 regular club championships. To do that, you have to be quite smart, and you have to be able to hit the ball a long way. He doesn't do it. He can't hit a ball 50 yards. He challenged me to a golf match. He can't hit a ball 50 yards. I think I'm in very good shape.
Embarrassing. Now we have somebody who's literally used to prosecuting criminals against a criminal. She stands for things that I believe strongly in: women's rights, LGBTQ rights, environment, healthcare.
Donald Trump and his allies tried more than 60 times to end the Affordable Care Act. 60 times. To give insurance companies back the power to deny people with pre-existing conditions. Y'all remember what that was like? Children with asthma? Women who had survived breast cancer? Grandparents with diabetes? President Biden and I, on the other hand, have made the Affordable Care Act more strong. Because, you see, we believe health care should be a right and not just a privilege of those who can afford it.
And a lot of people think the Affordable Care Act isn't good. They don't like it. I would go even more extreme. I think universal health care should be a thing in this country. But that's just me. So this is one of many things that I stand with her on, and the list continues.
He wanted to trade clean energy investments that we made for you for a $1 billion campaign contribution he could get for himself.
The environment is not something at the top of Trump's list, and oh my God, his VP, Vance, is even worse.
And he publicly doubted that climate change was caused by human activity. Vance also slammed the Inflation Reduction Act, which dedicated $370 billion over a decade to clean energy incentives, saying, quote, "It's dumb, does nothing for the environment, and will make us all poorer."
Yeah, that thing is a waste of money. Vance also, by the way, called Trump Hitler. To put it lightly, he wasn't a fan. So the fact that he's now the VP is extremely confusing to me, but you do you.
He will continue to sell out working families. He will continue to attack reproductive freedom.
Yes, he will. We've had a 50-year constitutional right to abortion access and health care. Not only did he take that away, he is extremely proud of it.
President Trump is going to make a determination what he thinks is great for the country and what's fair for the country. But the fact that I was able to terminate Roe v. Wade after 50 years of trying, they worked for 50 years. I've never seen anything like it. They worked, and I was so honored to have done it. Well, I did something that nobody thought was possible. I got rid of Roe v. Wade. And by doing that, it put pro-lifers in a very strong negotiating position. Nobody did a job like I did, including Roe v. Wade, bringing it back to the states. What I did by killing Roe v. Wade, which everyone said was impossible.
He killed Roe v. Wade. He's very proud of it. He takes credit for it, which, honestly, credit is due there. At least he's admitting something.
This week, Donald Trump is also trying to distract people. He wants to direct attention away from his record and his Project 2025 plan.
Ah, yes, Project 2025, something I feel like we do need to talk about right now, because this video for me is just summing up why I stand where I stand politically. You hear a lot of people talking about Project 2025, but I have a feeling a lot of people don't know exactly what it is or all the horrible things that it entails. Interestingly enough, as it's been getting more heat, Trump has tried to distance himself from it. He's actually said, "I have no idea who is behind it," which is a blatant lie. He doubled down in social media saying, "I've not seen it. I have no idea who is in charge of it." No idea? Don't you think someone who's running for president of the United States should know something about it? There's no way in hell he doesn't know anything about it or who's behind it. He's literally endorsed the Heritage Foundation so many times. He was a keynote speaker in 2017 for them and said that they were amazing. I don't know if he said amazing. Let me correct myself and make sure I get the quote exactly right.
It's an incredible honor to be here tonight to celebrate this really wonderful foundation. Just a few months from now, you will mark the 45th anniversary of this esteemed institution.
Quote, really wonderful foundation, and quote, esteemed institution. Got it. No idea who's behind Project 2025. Never heard of it. Never heard of them. What?
Trump claims he has no idea who's behind Project 2025. Hogwash.
This guy is amazing, by the way. I'm gonna leave the link to his full video in the description below. I highly encourage you to check it out.
Project 2025's nearly 1,000-page plan for a total MAGA takeover of America was assembled by more than 25 of Trump's own administration officials. Trump's Make America Great Again PAC is running ads calling it Trump's Project 2025.
His PAC, I have to go back to the screenshot. His PAC is running ads, and they themselves have called it Trump Project 2025. But he has no idea. Like, come on. He's either really stupid or thinks we're all really stupid. Or you know what? It's both.
140 people who worked for Trump are involved in the project, including 6 of his cabinet secretaries. Trump's campaign press secretary and his advisor, Stephen Miller, star in Project 2025's recruitment video. If Trump has no idea who they are, that's some serious cognitive decline.
Some serious cognitive decline, and I might have to agree with you. Also, there's been quite a few things popping up that I've been seeing lately about Trump's actual cognitive decline, although he did brag about passing all of his exams in the last debate.
But I took 2 cognitive tests. I took physical exams every year, but I was willing to take a cognitive test. And you know what? If I didn't do well, I aced them. One of them said they've never seen anybody ace them.
Thank you. President Biden?
He forgets who people are. He gets a lot of people's name wrong, including his own VP. Not long ago, he couldn't get that right either.
We've endorsed Dr. Oz. We've endorsed JP, right? JD Mandel, and he's doing great. Jimmy Connors is good. These are all still happy. You know, Nikki Haley. We appreciate it very much, Tim Apple. Yes, please, Mr. Kurd.
Thank you very much.
Joe Biden won against Barack Hussein Obama. Has anyone ever heard of him? Worst president in the history of our country who is cognitively impaired. We would be in World War II.
So there's a lot of people out there right now asking questions about Trump's cognitive abilities, which is so interesting because that was what they focused on so hard for Biden. But let's hear more exactly about what is contained in this Project 2025.
Page 5 calls for jailing teachers and librarians over banned books. Page 455 calls for abortion surveillance and stripping Americans of reproductive freedom.
That's some pretty scary stuff right there. And it goes even further. We've got restrictions on LGBTQ plus rights. That includes reinstating the transgender military ban, limiting LGBTQ workplace discrimination protections. Why? Why would you ever do that? Rescinding healthcare protections for trans people and urging Congress to define gender as male and female.
There's some pretty striking language where saying that government officials should only recognize marriage as between a man and a woman, and that a man and a woman are the ideal natural family structure.
Page 489 demands the government prioritize, quote, married men and women over any other type of family.
The push of America towards Christian nationalism is scary. I think now more than ever, it's starting to become more important to talk about these things as the concept of Christian nationalism rises. I'm going to try to speak out more on things like this. I'm going to try to create the space and time for myself to make more content because it's hard right now with having 2 small children to find the ability to do stuff like this, but I think it's important, especially because I have 2 small children. The future matters, and right now in this election, I think it's more important than ever to have our voices be heard. My urge to everybody watching, stay involved in politics, stay involved in local politics. And like I said at the beginning of this video, I think now with Harris, a lot of people are getting really excited. Shake every coconut tree we can find. All right, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.